Welcome back, guys. In this video I'm covering our road trip of the entire northern side of Japan. Think basically everything above Tokyo. Every major city and every prefecture. As usual, I'm combining my love for cars with the culture as well as the food surrounding it. We were able to go on this round trip because we had our visa extended to the full 6 months, which we weren't sure initially we were gonna get. Either way, leaving Tokyo, driving north, the first thing we've done is go to Nikko. We timed everything right so we could meet up with some friends as well as enjoy a super cool drift event at the track. We met up with Milky and my new super buddy Hunter, as well as running into Alexi. We spent the night in a container hotel, and then it was time to head into the heart of the city, right next to Nikko, and the first major city when leaving Tokyo to the north, Utsunomiya. We spent a couple of days here chilling and spending more time with Hunter, who lives here, and the first thing we checked out is Oya, a subterranean cave complex and Utsunomiya's prime attraction. Nowadays it is used for exhibitions and concerts, but it is also amazing to come here on warm summer days because the caves feature a very relaxing 18 degrees, which was perfect in contrast to 31 degrees outside. The next couple of days we just hung out and enjoyed the convenience of good food everywhere you look, as our hotel was located in the city center and had an incredible rooftop onsen. Also, one night we were out with Hunter and had the best chicken nanban I've come across in Japan. And we had a bit of a mishap after a few drinks, with Hunter slipping and breaking his collarbone. Well, now I've driven in a Japanese ambulance as well and spent the night in a ghost hospital. More experiences I wasn't expecting to make. Still, I wouldn't miss it for the world. And we still had our redemption event 2 months later after Hunter's collarbone healed, when we spent all night at an arcade, which is where we were trying to get when the mishap occurred. Heading further north, driving through Fukushima, we got to Sendai. Again, total chance encounter to sub garage. First we drove to check out the Dai Cannon, a huge Buddha statue with multiple levels inside and views across the city. We then headed into the city center to our hotel, which was run by virtual dino concierges, before walking it off into the night and getting some more amazing food. Next up were the castle ruins and the nearby food court. And we followed that up by driving out west a tad into the countryside, checking out the Akita Great Falls. Leaving Sendai behind, we drove up to the coast, next town over, called Matsushima. We stopped at a fish market for a nice breakfast and drove into the town to catch a boat ride around the various tiny islands. In the evening we made it to our next stop, Morioka. Morioka surprised us so much that we extended our stays for a few days. We used those days to try tons of great food as well as walk around the city checking places like the castle ruins and the surrounding park. On our last evening in Morioka, we went for wanko soba noodles, and I did in fact crack the 100 bowls, but had to be walked off well into the night. Real slow. We hit the road again and drove towards the coastal city called Hachinohe. First we grabbed an amazing burger in a shop that only seemed to have American customers, and then walked up to the Kabushima shrine. But our next hotel was already waiting for us in the city at the northern tip of Honshu, Aomori. Aomori is known for the Nebuta festival and its colorful floats, which people are able to see all year round in the Nebuta Museum. Then it was time for one of the most fun things we've done in Japan. We took the ferry from Honshu to Hokkaido. They even gave us a special paper to put on the dashboard, giving us permission to drive in first and park on the ground floor where the trucks usually stand, due to the fact that our car was a bit lower than normal cars. We booked very nice seats at the front of the ferry and relaxed and napped for a while before checking out to rest, because we had a 4-hour journey ahead of us. So then we arrived in Hokkaido, Hakodate to be more specific. But apart from a quick sushi session, we decided to stay in Hakodate on our way back and instead head towards the city furthest to the north of our entire Japan trip, and also the capital of Hokkaido, Sapporo. We rented a real nice apartment in Sapporo for just over a week and spent most of our time just walking around and doing things mostly unplanned. The one thing that was planned, however, was visiting the Sapporo beer brewery. How very uncharacteristic for Germans. After the brewery tour, we managed to secure a seat in the beer hall, where you can have Genghis Khan, which is mutton cooked directly at the table. Not exactly the most German thing to do, but amazing nonetheless. On one of the other days we drove out west to a town called Otaru, known for its glass crafts as well as an Instagram famous retro alleyway featuring various food stalls and restaurants. We also made sure to visit Nijo Market in the heart of Sapporo and score some fresh tuna. And then it was time to leave Sapporo again. We quickly grabbed the local chicken dish called zangi on our way out and popped over into the nearby mountains in Niseko. Niseko is a ski resort that had some seriously good deals going on due to being off-season. The hotel was incredible and the onsen even better. We relaxed for a few more days and then started our way back down south. As I mentioned before, we'd be returning to Hakodate, and that's exactly where we arrived next. Our first attraction was Goyukaku, a star-shaped fortress containing a park from the late Edo period. And in the evening it came highly recommended to us to take the cable car up to the Mount Hakodate Observatory to get the perfect view onto the city at night. When you get back down, you can walk or drive over to one of the several local burger joints called Lucky Pierrot to have a filling dinner to finish the night off. Our time in Hokkaido has run out, so we went back onto the ferry and made our way over to the west coast, where we spent one night in the city of Akita. Up bright and early, the plan was to drive down all along the west coast through Yamagata Prefecture. Just before getting to Niigata, where we'd spent the next few nights, we watched the best sunset in our time in Japan. The first thing we've done in Niigata is walk over to the fish market, which always has freshly cooked tuna and other fish, which was one of the tastiest fish dishes we've had. And then while walking along the pier, we noticed a car event taking place on the other side, and no way I was gonna miss that. Taken by surprise of the car event, we had to go do a sake tasting, obviously. In these sake shops, they have like 200 different sakes lined up, and you can choose which ones you'd like to try. Probably a must-try one in Japan. Just before heading out, we even caught a glimpse of the city's summer Matsuri when it started in the morning. And at this point we had gone on a tiny detour back into Fukushima. However, I have already covered that in a previous video, so feel free to check that out as well. It's in the cards. So instead we'll just focus on our journey along the coast, checking off the rest of the cities of northern Japan. Next up, Toyama. We spent one day in Toyama and walked around the castle grounds as well as the inner city to get a feel for it. It was a very calm and relaxed atmosphere with much less people roaming around than what we're used to. Continuing down the coast, next destination was Kanazawa. Kanazawa was impressive due to its bustling inner city and the probably neatest and well-kept castle grounds we've come across. But we've also ventured into Fukuyu Prefecture. At this point we were looping back towards Tokyo, checking off 2 more places I haven't covered yet. Coming into Gifu Prefecture, Takayama was waiting for us for a quick pit stop. We got a nice lunch and walked through the Sanmachi Suji Historic District before moving on to our final stay of this round trip. We arrived in Matsumoto and we caught a glimpse of the great Matsumoto castle. However, we haven't gone to visit this time around because we have already been there 10 years ago during our honeymoon. Instead, we checked into our hotel, which was awesome because it was no shoes on the entire premise. You essentially had to lock them in at the entrance. On top of that, and I know I keep saying that, this might have been the nicest onsen of our 6 months in Japan because I kept having it all to myself all night because no one was using it after 10 o'clock and it was open all night. Refreshed as I'd ever be, we've had a day trip planned out. We went to visit the Prince and Skyline Museum, an absolute no-brainer if you're in the area and for a Skyline guy like myself. And that concludes our round trip through the entire north of Japan. It sure has been a long way, but thanks for watching. See you next time.